Hey guys, it's G. Let's talk about creating cells in your acrylic pours. So cells are probably the very first thing that catches your eye in an acrylic pour because let's face it, they look pretty crazy. And there are two main ways to create cells in your own paintings. The first is to vary up the density of the paint, and the second is to use a cell additive. The easier way is to use a cell additive. So what is a cell additive? It's anything you add to your recipe that promotes the creation of cells. The most two common additives are silicone oil and Minuex pre-stain, which is a wood conditioner that you would normally use pre-staining to get an even finish. So both of these additives are oils, and oils are hydrophobic, meaning they repel water. Meanwhile, our acrylic paint, which is water soluble, is water-based. Do you see where we're going with this? So let's put it into context.
We're going to try a little experiment. The violet, magenta, orange and yellow colors are all the same density. 2 parts polyacrylic varnish, 1 part paint, and 1 part water. The usual recipe. We're going to swipe with 4 different whites to demonstrate the different cell additives and the impact of paint density. White number 1 is the same density as the colors. This first white is the starting point for the other 3 and is exactly the same recipe as the colors. 2 parts varnish, 1 part water, 1 part paint, and no cell additives. White number 2 is a little bit thicker. This one has twice the amount of paint as the first white and therefore more dense. It also has 1 drop of silicone oil. White number 3 is the same density as the colors, but has 1 drop of silicone oil in it as well. Meanwhile, white number 4 is thinned with water and 4 drops of Minuex pre-stain. Now let's swipe and see what happens. So with paint number 1, same density as the colors and no cell additive, we're going to swipe with a dry piece of tissue. You only need it to touch the swipe color, not sink into it. And we won't really need to use a heat gun or a torch just yet. Let's just see what happens without it. Next up is paint number 2. This has twice the amount of paint and 1 drop of silicone oil. Let's see what happens when we swipe. Notice there's a larger portion of solid white. And despite using silicone oil, there are no cells. Now let's try paint number 3. This one is the same density as the colors, but with 1 drop of silicone oil. Okay, we're seeing results that are somewhere between the first two, but that might change when we apply some heat. Let's move on to paint number 4. This one is thinner than the colors, and instead of using silicone oil, we're using Minuex pre-stain. Let's see how this one does. Okay, a much nicer gradient on this one. Now let's use the torch to spot heat the paint and see how that affects the cell additives. So notice paint number 1 has barely any cells and the heat didn't change that. Paint number 2, despite having a cell additive, has twice as much paint and is more dense than the colors. And once again, there's barely any cells. Paint number 3 is where we start seeing some results. The paint here is the same density as the colors, and as you can see, it needed a bit of heat to start showing cells. Now, in paint number 4 is where you see why density matters. This recipe uses Minuex pre-stain and is thinned with water to make the swipe color the thinnest color on the canvas. Let's take a closer look. So in the first paint, the swipe color is the same density and there are no cell additives. Only a few cells here and there and likely just the result of bubbles. Now number 2 is the main reason you are not getting cells despite using silicone oil. Your paint is too thick. Your swipe color needs to be the thinnest density in the paints. The whole thing works when the oil from the cell additive creates bits of paint that repel the other colors because of their hydrophobic properties. And if that paint is too thick, you won't get nice well-defined cells. Now let's look at number 3. Here the white is the same density as the other paints, but we've added 1 drop of silicone. Notice how cells formed in this swipe when we spot heated it. Finally, number 4. the thinnest consistency, and using Minwax pre-stain instead of silicone oil.
And that's it for our tutorial on swiping and why you weren't getting cells in your painting. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more content like this. And if you want to see more tutorials, just stay tuned for the next video.